What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? I hope that you're doing well today. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to Word Power. This is our broadcast this morning. I'm excited to see every one of you today on Word Power. I have something I'd like to share with you today, and this is so exciting for me. I'm trying some new stuff. I'm looking forward to having a good time with each of you. And the real joy I have, the real joy I have is that you are here today. So today I want to talk to you about what did you just say? Grace points. What did you just say? Have you ever heard some people say some crazy stuff to you, especially during this pandemic? And there's some of you who have been trying to get back into the reality of the tension and address the tension of work life balance and knowing that there are some people that you work with. What's up, everybody on Instagram? There's some people that you're working with that have been working from home and you have been going into work or continuing your job as you did before. Today, I want to address ways in which you can be successful and effective on how to take care of your business. Shout out to those who are watching in the Bahamas today. What's up, Bahamas, and watching in DC? And there may be those who are watching in England. What's up? What's up, cuz Mike? The reality is that there are so many people who are going through things right now. Every week on Word Power, there is a word of the week. And the word of the week this week is tension. That's right. The word of the week this week is tension. And there's a text of the week, and that text of the week comes from Romans chapter 15, verse 7. Therefore, accept one another just as Christ also accepted us to the glory of God. So I want to tell you today that the reentry phase of the pandemic is critical, right? The reentry phase of this pandemic, as the pandemic begins to unwind, let's just shout out the blessings of the pandemic. There have been some blessings of the pandemic thus far. And I would suggest to you that when we experience the pandemic, it's like seeing something we never saw before, experiencing some realities that we never thought before, but there's an increased understanding and need of work-life balance. Come on, talk to me today. Talk back to me in this chat that there's an increased understanding and need of work-life balance. There's some people who didn't really have it before, may not have it now, but there's an increased need for it. Then there was an increased emphasis on employee well-being. Now, I've never seen so many people do so many things. So many things. I work in healthcare and so many people giving food. It was great. It was awesome. But there are also points of tension that were addressed. Resilience, making sure that people had what they needed, getting the adequate staffing, and making sure that people were able to make some money. Now, some of y'all made some big money over the course of the phases of the pandemic, and I'm not even mad at it. I didn't make it, but I'm not even mad at it. What's up, Footman Joe? What's up, Kevin Brown? The reality is that some people really needed some extra cash, and you got it. Completed some things, got out of debt. Wonderful. But then there's also opportunities for flex hours and remote work. Ah, here the tension is building, having flex hours and remote work. All right, but what happens when flexibility is open for some, but not all? Oh, I wish somebody would talk to me today. The flexibility is open for some, but not all. And I would suggest to you that it creates a realm of tension. Creates an opportunity for creativity and opportunities for dialogue. So with tension, the natural tension, some people are passive aggressive, and you don't have to say. I see a lot of preachers on here today. There's a tension that people have that people want to say stuff, but they don't want to be the one to say it. They have to use and hide behind other things. But I would suggest to you that there have been opportunities for creativity. We're starting to use our buildings, our locations, our facilities. There have been people who are talking to each other and having increased dialogue and conversation. And I think that that is a wonderful, wonderful experience. The reality also for some is that there have been opportunities for dialogue. Some people you never would have talked to before. Some opportunities for dialogue have never come up before. And I believe that this is the best time to be alive. Now, as the pandemic unwinds, though, that people are returning to work, to church, and back to life. And I want to just give us some ways to make smooth transitions. So you asked the question, what are some ways to make smooth transitions? And I want to give you that today. There are some ways that we can make some more effective smooth transition. So let's dive right into it. We're going to not going to get into all of it today, but this is part one of part two. And please feel free. Also, commercial break. We'll pause here for a second to go to your Apple podcast store and download the Built to Thrive. Join the Built to Thrive podcast community. You'll also hear this podcast on the Built to Thrive podcast and also others that you've heard here before. I want to spread this word to as many people as possible. But if you're a leader or a leader of leaders and you have access to people, I want you to tell them to listen to this podcast, because what you're about to hear is going to shift and adjust and help you in your life and in your work. So are you ready to get into it? All right, let's go for it. All right, so the first thing I would suggest is a way to make smooth transition from those who are working at home to working inside of the building facility or going back to church or life as we knew it. I want to suggest to you, number one, be careful what you say. Your words are building transition or retention. Now, I would suggest there are so many people who receive special messages, and these special messages came from a pure heart and pure intentions. I received a message from someone who decided to work from home, and they were sharing, and they said, perfect love casts out fear. So don't be afraid to go in the hospital every day with the pandemic. I said, what? Are you kidding me? You have to be careful what you say, because your words are building retention or transition. Transition means people finding other places to work. Recently in the news, there was an article that talked about people who were leaving certain states to work other places because of the drive, because of the lack of being able to exercise, and a lack of work-life balance. And I would suggest to you, as a leader, your people will work for you and do anything, but they will not work for someone who they will not work for someone who decides that their life should be dictated by their boss. And I'm going to tell you today, be careful what you say. Your words are building retention or transition. The other thing I say, number two, is realize that things have changed and so have you. You're not the same person as when you went in. You're not the same person as when you went into this experience. And I want to tell you today that we have to accept that things are not the way that they used to be. And there's some people who want to go back to church the way it was. They want to go back to work the way it was. They want to know where everything was and everything that was familiar. And I think that's just a natural human thing. Oh, somebody talked to me today in this chat that there's sometimes that we just want normal because it feels good and it feels natural. But I want to suggest to you, you're not the same person as you were in January. You're not the same person as you were in August. You're not the same person right now. You're different. And I want to encourage you that since you're not the same person, you got to relearn your whole team all over again. I've got to talk on 5 ways to build resilience. I'll come do it for you, for your organization or group. And I'm telling you, that talk has blessed many people and blessed myself. Done it for healthcare organizations on the West Coast and also in the Southeast. Now, I also want to encourage you. Oh, yes, that's right. What's up? What's up? Shout out to Andrea. Andrea's on this morning. I know there's some good things are going to happen now. All right. So, number three, be open to learning a new language. The language of employment has changed. People have options. And I'm telling you, the language of employment has changed. People want to make sure they have flexibility. I was talking to a colleague the other day who lost a person on their team because the flexibility aspect was not the same. And be open to learning a new language because the language of employment has changed. And then be firm, but flexible with deadlines. And how open are you to adjustment for the sake of quality? I think too often we've been trying to fly planes without being able to have them fully done. All right. We have been able to build bake cakes and sell cakes that were not fully baked. And I think that now we demand quality. Guess what? The supply chain is demanding that our quality has to be better. We have to do better and be better. And we're going to have to do the best with what we have. That's real stewardship right there. And then number five, I want to suggest to you to put yourself in the other person's position and then take action. I think too often we want to make sure that we just look at it from our perspective when we're really trying to build retention. And there's some things that we say that can actually help or harm our whole experience. I want you to know today that I'm so excited to be able to share this with you because there's so many people that I've found in my talking, my coaching, and my mentoring and my guiding that there are people who really want the best from their employees. There's so many people who want the best from their life, but they just are not able to find it. So put yourself in the other person's position. And I want to let you know that there's no way that you will not be able to be successful. I promise you, you got to make sure to take care of yourself. The other thing I would like to suggest is that there's so many ways for us to learn a new language. And this new language comes from changing to a phrase that I like to give you today. This new language comes from a phrase I like to give you today. It's not time for us. I think we need to retire the phrase, we need to return back to normal. Please. I'm telling you, that makes me vomit when I hear it. Return back to normal. Who wants to go back to normal? Normal was less of an opportunity to have flexibility. Normal was less opportunity for DE and I in the workplace. Normal was not being able to have opportunities for remote work or life or school balance and things like that. I don't want to go back to normal. Listen, please don't talk to me going back to normal. I want the new reality. And guess who defines and writes that new reality? The people who are listening to me, the people who are watching me, you, yourself, and you. Yes, you. You have an opportunity to define the new reality. And guess what? Instead of watching it, instead of hoping for it, I hope that you take advantage of the new reality that you have a part to play in. I promise you, this is the best time to work. Now, please don't mistake this joy that I have for the fact that I may be grieving losses of loved ones, family, friends, and I might even be grieving the normal that was in 2019, 2018. But guess what? This is a new time. This is a new opportunity. And next week, I'll give you the next few things that will complete this list. I want to tell you today, yes, there are some tensions. Yes, there is creativity, but I want to give you a word today from God's word, which comes from Romans 15, verse 7. Therefore, accept one another, just as Christ also accepted us in the glory to the glory of God. We've got to accept each other and we've got to find a way to work together. So, just to recap, we got to be careful what we say. We got to be willing to hear each other out. We got to, number two, realize that things have changed, and so have you. You got to be open to learning a new language. The language of employment has changed. You got to be firm but flexible. And then finally, put yourself in the other person's position. Well, I'm so excited to be able to share with you that the Built to Thrive podcast on Apple and Spotify is back and up and running. Every Tuesday, you'll get a new episode. Please like, subscribe, and share this broadcast with someone, and subscribe to the podcast on Apple and Spotify. There are episodes that you have heard here that will be repeated on there, and other exciting things and interviews that you'll hear there. I hope that you have a great rest of your Saturday. Thank you for an investment in your time today. I look forward to connecting with you in ways that are meaningful for you, your group, or your organization. And shout out to my friend Claudette Jones in Trenton, New Jersey. Shout out to Andrea Williams in Lakeland, Florida. And shout out to everybody who's listening. I'm Juleun Johnson, and I approve this message. I hope you have a great rest of your day.